Hello everyone. Welcome back to Jikook Magic. In BTS's latest interview with GQ Korea, all 7 members sat together once again, laughing, joking, and answering questions from the internet. At first glance, it looked like a typical relaxed interview session. Light conversations, spontaneous jokes, and the warm atmosphere of 7 longtime friends chatting together. But for fans who notice every detail, something quickly caught their attention. An expression, a small habit, and a reflex that kept repeating throughout the interview. The innocent and adorable expression of Jungkook, and the way he almost always turned his head whenever Park Jimin began to speak. For some people, it might seem like a meaningless gesture, but for many fans, moments like these are exactly where the warmth of their bond feels the most real. Today, we're going to take a closer look at that moment. The interview began with a simple opening line. Hello GQ, we're BTS. Today, we're going undercover on the internet. Their tone was relaxed, nothing formal or stiff. From the very first seconds, the atmosphere already felt warm. They responded to one another, laughed at small things, and even talked over each other a few times. The first question from the internet appeared. What do they like most about the fact that BTS is finally back together? The members' answers were quite similar. They said that whenever all 7 of them gather, the atmosphere instantly becomes livelier. It's never truly quiet. There's always noise, stories, and someone making the room feel alive. In the middle of the conversation, Jungkook replied casually, "It's fun." His sentence was simple, short, almost like a spontaneous comment. But right after he said those words, a small detail happened. Jimin immediately turned to look at him. The movement was quick, almost like a reflex. His gaze looked attentive, as if that simple sentence meant more than just an ordinary remark. The other members then added that whenever they're together, the energy in the room feels different. Their time together is always filled with laughter, overlapping conversations, and a lively atmosphere that never really settles down. Jungkook repeated with a small smile, "It's really fun." His expression looked so sincere that several members instantly started laughing. Jimin laughed too, a spontaneous, warm laugh, as if he enjoyed Jungkook's reaction more than anything else. The conversation then shifted to a lighter topic. A question appeared. Have they ever sent mirror selfies of their latest outfits in the BTS group chat? The members immediately burst into laughter. They joked that if they really did something like that, they would probably spend all their time complimenting each other's photos. But in reality, their chat is much more chaotic. Instead of cool selfies, they often send ugly photos, weird memes, or random funny pictures from the internet. Among them, Kim Taeyong is known as the one who sends selfies the most. He even admitted that he often sends videos too. The conversation felt light and playful. But in the middle of all that, something kept happening repeatedly. Even though they were seated on different sides of the room, Jimin could be seen glancing toward Jungkook several times, as if his presence always remained within the same circle of attention. The next question led them to a slightly more serious topic. Have they ever disagreed about a BTS comeback concept? Some of the ideas they mentioned sounded quite extreme. One of them was shaving their hair, something that immediately made the members laugh as they remembered the time they had actually done it. There was also a Grand King concept, even a dramatic military concept. The discussion stayed relaxed, but then a more reflective question appeared. What kind of legacy do BTS want to leave in the world of music? The room, previously filled with laughter, suddenly felt quieter. Kim Seokjin answered sincerely. He said he simply wanted to be remembered as someone who, through BTS, was able to give beautiful memories to many people. Someone who brought happiness to his generation. His answer made the atmosphere more thoughtful. Still, the members agreed that it might be too early to talk about their legacy. Their journey is far from over. That's when Jungkook added something. "We haven't even made our comeback yet." As he said that sentence, he turned to look at Jimin. And almost like a reflex, Jimin looked back. Their eyes met for just a few seconds. No extra words. No big reaction. But that brief moment was enough for many viewers to feel that something was different. The conversation then continued with other topics. Their favorite music videos, old memories, and BTS's visual concepts in the past. Min Yoongi explained that some of their old concepts feel very dramatic when they look back at them now, bright colors and extreme visual experiments. But now their style may become more natural and mature. While Yoongi spoke seriously, the members listened attentively. But once again, a small detail appeared. Every time Jimin spoke, Jungkook almost always turned toward him. Quick movement, a natural reflex, and it happened many times throughout the interview. One of the most interesting moments came when a viewer asked a simple question. Why were Jimin and Jungkook placed on opposite sides? At first glance, it was just a normal seating arrangement. But then something happened. When Jimin started speaking, Jungkook reacted immediately. Without hesitation, without thinking, he turned his entire body to look at Jimin. Not just a quick glance. He fully turned his neck, as if his body was automatically drawn toward that voice. Even though they weren't sitting next to each other, there were several members between them. Logically, Jungkook didn't need to react that quickly. And yet he did. And that's exactly what made the moment special. Because even though they were sitting on opposite sides of the room, their attention seemed to remain on the same line. The conversation eventually became light again. They talked about singing in the shower, music playlists, and even Yoongi's longer hairstyle, which he kept because his mother liked it. They also discussed the time after completing their military service. After their enlistment ended, they went to Los Angeles to start working on a new album with a fresh mindset. Jungkook said he really enjoyed his time there. Jimin then asked jokingly, "So you want to go back there?" Laughter once again filled the room. When a question appeared about Jimin's best photo, some members mentioned pictures from his solo album and his appearance at the Dior event. Jimin then smiled and said, "There's also a mini version of me at the Dior event." He was referring to a tiny figurine of himself created by social media creators. Jungkook immediately remembered that moment. Oh right, they were really cute. His voice sounded sincere. And as he said that, he once again looked toward Jimin with a small smile that was almost missed by the camera. The final question felt like an imaginative game. What would they do if, for 1 week, the world didn't know who BTS was? Some members said they would go to the movies, amusement parks, or crowded restaurants like ordinary people. Interestingly, Jimin revealed that he had actually gone to the cinema 2 days earlier. Hearing that, Jungkook immediately reacted with a surprised expression, as if he had just learned that fact. That spontaneous reaction once again filled the room with laughter. Finally, the interview came to an end. We're BTS and we're logging off the internet now. Thank you for watching. The video ended simply, but for many viewers, it wasn't just their answers that left an impression. It was the small moments in between, the repeated glances, the spontaneous reactions, the attention that kept returning in the same direction. Tiny details that made one thing feel clear. Even among 7 people sharing one room, there were often 2 people who, without realizing it, always seemed to find each other. And maybe that's what made this interview feel so warm for fans. Not because of big moments, not because of dramatic words, but because of something much simpler. Jungkook's innocent expression, Jimin's bright smile, and the small reflex every time they noticed each other. A simple moment, yet enough to make many people smile even after the video ended. What do you think? Did you notice this small moment too? Write your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss more interesting moments from Jikook Magic.